Right now, though, we are shining the spotlight on our parents. So we said it this morning as well. Nikki Bush joined us this morning. She's our parenting and creative expert, and she helps parents this morning deal with life challenges, but not so much for the parent side, but for the children. How do you let your children just go out there and experience life challenges without becoming too protective?
Now, as we get to experience on a daily basis doing a live TV show, life does not unfold in a perfectly straight line. Not for adults and not for our children. Certainly, everything requires a bit of effort, and not all the effort is fun. Some of it sucks, and kids need to learn how to get used to this. This morning, we chat to our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, on this topic. Why does life suck, Nikki? Why does it have to suck sometimes? What are those bright moments? I've heard that term being used. And what is standing in the way of us having those bright moments?
So I came across this concept, Graham, from Liz Gilbert, who is the author of the New York Times bestseller Eat, Love, Pray. And she's written a new book called Big Magic. And she talks about the fact that we don't just jump from one bright moment to another.
Yeah.
There are in-between moments.
You claw your way
to the next one. And I
one.
often think it's a little bit like, you know, we're not frogs jumping from one lily pad to another. We actually fall into the water every now and again. And it's how we deal with those moments when we fall into the water, between the lily pads, between the bright moments, that actually determines how devoted we are to our passions, to our pursuits. Because things have a habit, life has a habit of having twists and turns and bends in the road. Kids often look at celebrities, for example, and they go, oh, wow, I'd love to be like, you know, like that celebrity on TV or YouTube or that soccer star or whatever, and they have no concept of the in-between moments of that life. The fact that that soccer player puts in so many hours of blood, sweat and tears to get good at what they do. It doesn't just happen. Things don't happen. Success is not created in a vacuum.
And often, and I find it from interviewing incredible people every day, that often what's propelled them to that success has been a massive loss, has been a massive sacrifice, has been something that's happened to them that most of us would want to avoid with every ounce in our being, but that's what's actually given them the fortitude and the strength to elevate their life above that. Why do we need to teach this, instill this within our children? How do we do that?
Yeah, so I always say that some of the best lessons I've learned, and I'm sure you can say the same, were learnt at the feet of pain and disappointment.
Yeah.
And so...
Life sucking.
Life sucking. And so as parents today, especially very busy parents, we like to keep our children in that happiness bubble. Yeah. Because we don't have time for meltdowns and redos and things. But meltdowns and redos are part of the journey. We have to allow our children to experience the highs and the lows, the emotional side of getting from one bright moment to the next. And if we take away all that pain and disappointment, there is no frustration factor to propel our children forward so that they get better than they are, so that you get better than good. To get better than good, you often need a baptism by fire. And I look at my own journey in one of my early jobs before I became a speaker and an author. I've always been a writer and a speaker. And I had a boss who used to put his pen through my press releases that I was writing, and he'd say, go and do it again. And he wouldn't tell me how to fix it. It was the most frustrating thing. But I always say that he pushed me to go from good to great.
To great. And where are you now is what I'm asking this, Nikki Bush.
A few books later.
I remember my mom's telling me that when I was doing Strictly as a big kid, and you never stop being your mother's child. She was like, just be better. I was like, but it's not going well. I know it's like, just do better. Just be better at it, man.
Yeah, but you see, bright moments are when things feel easy, things feel happy, everybody loves what you're doing. You know, you're flying high. That's a bright moment. But it's what happens in between. That's the test of character.
Oh, we're going to talk about how you can educate your child to be better prepared to tackle those challenges as well. We can't prevent them from going through all of life's hardships, but you can give them the tools, the weapons to be able to propel themselves that much further forward. What an awesome conversation this morning. Stick around.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3.
Absolutely. Hope you're enjoying this Wednesday with us right now. Some more parenting advice from our creative expert in parenting, Nikki Bush. She talks about how to teach your children to accept and brace themselves for life's challenges.
We're back in the hot seat with our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, who is spreading a message of negativity this morning, that life sucks, it's tough, and just get over it.
No. Life sucks sometimes.
Sometimes, and that is the joy of life, is that with every major challenge, it allows you to discover so much more joy. We have to let our children go through those tough moments, through those sucky moments, to be able to experience the good times. Why is it so important to teach our children at a younger age that life can get better, that they've got to embrace these challenges? What does that instill when we look at their long-term development?
Exactly what you said, Graham. They need to experience the ups and the downs so they can appreciate the feeling of the up. If life was just a constant continuum, there would be no difference, you know. We'd just be operating on one level all of the time. But when children experience mistakes, failures, having to redo something, they get this impetus to improve. They get this impetus to go up a level, to shift a gear. And it's quite hard sometimes for children to appreciate how many hours have to go into something to get good at it. And there's Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule in his book Outliers, and he made that 10,000-hour rule famous. And there's a reason for 10,000 hours, and even if it's not 10,000 hours of practice, repetition, doing something over and over again, helps us to get good at it because it lays down the neurological pathway in the brain for that particular action, movement, whether it's a child singing a song on a stage or whether it's playing hockey or tennis or something. To get good at that movement, to become a good goal scorer, to become a good performer, you've got to practice. And therein lies the rub.
That's so funny. In Kung Fu, you've got to do a form 2,000 times before your body starts to become proficient in those movements.
That 2,000 to 3,000 repetitions creates the base memory cell of whatever that movement is.
That's incredible.
It's called an engram.
An ancient wisdom that we can still apply today. And when you look at the implications of not being able to handle failure or not wanting to embrace new challenges, that can have very real ramifications in the workplace.
Absolutely. So you think of a lawyer who has to do 80-hour work weeks. If you want to be a hotshot lawyer, best you be prepared.
That's why they charge by the second, yeah.
Exactly. Best you be prepared for that workload. If you're not prepared, if you don't have the grit and determination to get through that, well, then you might as well just go home already. If you want to be artistic, you know, a creator as we are, you've got to be prepared to have your work rejected hundreds of times, like an author, a playwright. You get more no's than you get yeses. And you've got to be prepared to go back again and again because it comes with the territory. And so it's about developing grit, determination, resilience, going back for more and getting better every time.
What message do we have to give to our parents now? What should they be instilling in their children? What message do they need to give their children? Distill that for us.
So failure and mistakes are just an opportunity for a new beginning. What's important is that we look at that failure and that mistake and we say, what did we learn from that? And how can we do this differently next time? Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're not going to get a different result. So it's about the learning and the developmental process that comes with experiencing the bright moments and the in-between sucky moments. And knowing that the quality of the work we do in the in-between times determines our degree of success in those bright moments.
Oh, I love that. Life sucks sometimes, but you get to enjoy incredible bright moments because of those sucky moments. So hopefully this is something that you can now start to apply in your own life, in your parenting as well. Nikki Bush, thank you so much. So interesting today.